Once upon a time, in a kingdom beneath the sea, there lived a young mermaid with eyes like quiet storms and a voice that could make even the whales weep. She was the youngest of 6 daughters of the Sea King, and though her sisters were content to sing and swim and gather treasures from the deep, she was different. She wanted more. Her grandmother told her stories of humans and ships, of stars and the sky, and that on her 15th birthday, she would be allowed to rise to the surface and see it for herself. She waited year after year as her sisters each turned 15 and returned with tales of wonders, green forests, flocks of birds, and bright cities by the shore. When finally her birthday came, the sea calmed, and she swam upward. She broke through the surface just as the sun was setting, and there she saw it, a grand ship lit with lanterns and filled with music. A prince stood on the deck, smiling, dancing, his face full of life. She watched him, heart pounding, never blinking. Then came the storm. Waves crashed. Lightning struck. The ship split apart. The prince was thrown into the sea. Without hesitation, the Little Mermaid dove beneath the waves, catching him before he sank, and swam him to shore. She stayed with him, watching as he lay unconscious on the sand, until a girl from a nearby temple found him. The mermaid slipped away before he saw her, but from that moment on, she loved him. She returned to her underwater world, but nothing felt the same. She longed to see the world above, to breathe air, to dance, to walk on strange limbs, to speak the language of the humans. But more than anything, she longed for something her kind could never possess: a soul. You see, mermaids live for centuries, but when they die, they become sea foam and vanish. Humans, fragile and brief, rise to the stars, and the Little Mermaid wanted that eternity. So the Little Mermaid made a decision. She visited the Sea Witch, a dark, shadowy creature feared by all. In her cave of bones and writhing weeds, the witch agreed to give her a potion. It would give the mermaid legs, but every step she took would feel like walking on knives. And she must win the prince's love. If he married another, the mermaid would die of heartbreak and turn to foam at dawn. The price? Her voice, the beautiful voice the prince had never even heard. The mermaid agreed. She drank the potion, and agony split her in two. Her tail vanished. Her voice dissolved into air. She awoke on the shore in agony, and the prince found her. Though she could not speak, he grew fond of her, this strange, silent girl. He let her stay in his palace, laughed with her, walked beside her. But he never knew her name, never heard her voice, never saw the truth in her eyes. He spoke often of the girl from the temple, the one who had saved him, the one he planned to marry. And so he did. That night, the Little Mermaid stood on the ship's deck, watching the prince and his new bride sleep. In her hand, her sisters had placed a dagger. They had given up their hair to the Sea Witch in exchange for this final chance. If she killed the prince and let his blood fall on her feet, she would become a mermaid again. She raised the knife, but she could not do it. She loved him too much. With one last look at the man she had saved, the mermaid flung herself into the sea. Her body dissolved into foam, but she did not die. Instead, she rose into the air. She had become a daughter of the air, a spirit. Because of her selflessness, the heavens granted her a chance to earn a soul through good deeds over centuries. And so, she soared through the sky, invisible to all, whispering gentle words into sleeping children's dreams, no longer bound by the sea, the shore, or sorrow. At last, she was free.